Still a big gap in our national security. Only on ABC 12, our Washington correspondent Ted Fiorliso tells us what it is and what they're doing about it.
Could the horrific events of 9/11 been prevented? It's hard to say for sure. One thing we do know is 4 of the airline hijackers overstayed their visas. Republican Congresswoman Candace Miller says over 40% of people in the U.S. illegally didn't sneak across the border. They came right through the front door and are on a visa overstay.
We know who's coming in, but we are not tracking really very well who's going out.
Remember the 9/11 Commission? One of their key recommendations was the implementation of a biometric exit system. Think fingerprint or retina scanners to better identify someone as they leave the country. But a dozen years after the attacks, it's still not a reality. So Miller introduced a bill that would mandate a timeline for the Department of Homeland Security to implement the system. Within 2 years at the nation's top 10 airports and seaports, at all of them in 5 years, and at land border crossings within 3 years.
The Department of Homeland Security is very, very open to this legislation. I think they have been looking for a nudge.
The Subcommittee on Border and Maritime Security held a hearing Thursday where Miller wanted to make clear none of the biometric information would be collected on U.S. citizens.
We are just trying to make sure that those that came here in the United States on a visa, that we have the proper information so that we can make sure that they exit at the expiration of their visa.
The biometric exit system bill has bipartisan support, including from Ranking Member Sheila Jackson-Lee, who's a co-sponsor. In Washington, I'm Ted Fiorliso.
We are just 5 days away until a possible government shutdown in Washington, D.C., unless lawmakers can come up with an agreement to continue funding the federal government. As we've been reporting, the House passed a continuing resolution last week, which also defunds the Affordable Care Act. That's something Senate Democrats say will not be part of their version of a spending bill.